G'day and welcome to this edition of the COLAC Herald Sports Smash. I'm Lachlan, Cowlishaw. Beside me is Ben Martin. How you going, Ben?
Well, thanks a lot.
Good stuff. Let's get stuck into this week's edition. We've got plenty of football and netball action coming at you. As always, there was a game yesterday out LV Illawarra Biak, so something a bit different this week. But anyway, let's get stuck in the footy now with Ben.
That's right. Fresh off the bat, happened yesterday. LV has come from behind to beat Illawarra Biak and win the WorkSafe game of the month. A lot going on down at LV yesterday. Peter Nice, the Hawthorn legend, was down there, so some pretty big crowds. Illawarra Biak led by 4 goals at half time, but LV stormed home to win 10-12, 72 to 6, 11, 47. Mitch Williamson kicked 3 goals for the winners, while Andre De Lorenzo, Jared Douglas and Ryan McKenzie were the Swans' best for Illawarra Biak. Sam Barry kicked 3 goals and was among the best players, with Troy Keating, the 100 gamer. Well done to Troy, Jared Stinscombe and Darcy McCallum. The next game, Imps have recorded their second come from behind, winning the dying minutes to win a game for the second time in 2 weeks. This week, Josh Trezise kicked the winner to help COLAC Imperials defeat Birregurra 11-8, 74 to 10-9, 69. The Imps actually led the entire match until Birri hit the front in the dying minutes before Josh put his team back in front to win this one at Birregurra. Tom McKay kicked 4 goals in a best on ground performance for the Imps, while Andrew Scott, James Morgan and Travis Cole were also good for the Imps. For Birregurra, Christian Kelly kicked 5 goals, while their best was Steve Sargent, Tom Cotton and Tom McRickard. The next game now, Lawn coach Brock Shields still not quite, happy with how his team's going. They're sitting on top of the ladder and they're getting some pretty big wins, but still not quite where he wants them to be ahead of finals. But they defeated Forest by almost 100 points, 22-10, 142 to 8-6, 54 at Forest Recreation Reserve. So he's a bit of a perfectionist, that Brock. Ryan Evans kicked 6 goals for Lawn. They were obviously without Luke Norton, who had a bit of a hamstring strain, while Shields, Louis Homer and Ted Stephen were the Dolphins' best for Forest. Matt Burrell, Scotty Ganger had 2 goals each, while Sean Calcedo, Michael, Big G, Gregorio and Burrell were the Lions' best. The next game, Western Eagles have had to fight from behind to beat Simpson at Simpson Recreation Reserve. They play the ground well, the young Tigers out there, but the Eagles trailed at quarter time and half time, but came back to win 10-9, 69 to 5-8, 38. Tyson Stott, the skipper for Western Eagles, kicked 3 goals in a best on ground performance, while also good players for the Eagles were Mark Shaw, Nathan McNamara and Justin McPhee. For Simpson, multiple players actually kicked a goal, so a bit of an even spread there, while Jade McVilly, Joel Hayward and Brent de Jong were the Tigers' best. The next game now, South Colac, led by Tim Spears, has defeated Otway Districts at Joiner Reserve. They won the match 16-15, 1-11 to 5, 11-41 at Joiner Reserve. Jake Veal stepped up and kicked 4 goals. He was a late inclusion for Ben Cox, who pulled out with a bit of soreness there.
Straight swap there, every week. Straight swap.
They did not miss a beat. He was just on fire, setting up goals as well. Spears was their best player, Dave Marinez, and the man of the hour, Veal, was also the best players. For the Demons, Martin, Butch Angus and Jared Nan kicked 2 goals, while Daniel Gage, Luke Burnett and Dean Marnie were the Demons' best. And finally, finishing off with the GFL, not last but not least, of course, because the COLAC Tigers are just on fire at the moment. They've gotten one back against St Mary's, who defeated the Tigers by 10 goals in round 4. So they've really come back. It was a 110-point turnaround from last time's result, I believe. So Tigers won this time around 16-15, 111 to 9-9, 63. After a 9-0 opening quarter. So they really just set the tone for the match early. Kane Leeson kicked 5 goals for the Tigers, while Lachlan, Veal, Learson, James Linton, Ryan Monhan, Lockie Simpkin and Dylan Fidley, who we previewed at the weekend, were among the Tigers' best. While for St Mary's, Josh Eddy and Andrew McLean, the brother of Birregurra footballer Tim McLean, were the Saints' best in this one. Look.
Good stuff. A huge game there from the Tigers, and it was a huge game for the Tigers against St Mary's. Unfortunately, not the same result in the netball. The A-grade netballers went down 42 to 40. St Mary's getting a valuable win, but St Mary's did beat them by 10 goals last time, so it was a nice little turnaround. Apparently, the first 5 minutes of the first quarter were a bit flat for the Tigers and cost them at the end of the game. For St Mary's, Gabrielle Henderson scored 23 goals for COLAC. Zoe Don scored 24, and Emily Murfitt had 16. The best player for St Mary's is Ellie Hurd, and for COLAC it was Talia Jeffries, Emma Hillman and Zoe Don. Now into the COLAC District Netball. The first game I have for you is yesterday's clash between LV and Illawarra Biak. The Bombs expected to win this one, but it was much closer than expected, only 5 goals in the end. The result was 31 to 26 Illawarra Biak's way. Taylor Leeson led the way with 23 goals, while youngster Ali Flanagan had 5. Taryn Tom played the second half after recovering from an ankle injury. She scored 3 goals and should be right for the remainder of the season. Morgan Drayton had 22 goals for Elvie, while for Illawarra Biak, Leeson, Jackie Cardinal and Narelle Frith were the best players, and for Elvie, Morgan Eldridge, Morgan Drayton and Kim Carty got the votes. COLAC Imperials took on Birregurra and for the second week in a row scored more than 80 goals. They won 84-38. A competitive Birregurra, but Imperials just on fire at the right time of the season. Rebecca Scott scored 72 goals, coach Candy Robbins had 12, Abby Gannon scored 23 goals for the Saints, while the best players were Rebecca Scott and Jessica Whedon for their respective teams. Forest versus Lawn was the next game on the card. 60-38 the final score the Dolphins' way, so finally got a well-earned win after struggling with a few close losses throughout the year. Karen Heathcott scored 39 goals, Carly Entercott had 21 for Lawn, while for Forest Stephanie Ryan had 21 goals. The best players were Shelley Ryan and Fiona Teague for Forest. South Colac took on Otway Districts and got another win. They have only lost to the Imperials this season. They're charging towards final. 62-43 was the final score at Joiner Reserve. Nicole Mitchell scored 35 goals. Simone Hickman scored 24 goals for the Demons. Nicole Mitchell was South Colac's best player and Hickman was the Demons' best player. The final game now is Simpson taking on Western Eagles, and the Eagles got another valuable win. 60-28 was the final score against the Tigers, who of course have been struggling a bit this season. Jenny Fish scored 28 goals. Sophie Cronin had 14 for the Tigers. For the Eagles, Jenny Fish, Caroline Hitchings and Sarah Anderson were the best players, and for Simpson, Megan Leishman, Hayley Powell and Casey Wheel got the vote. So the top 5 in the netball looks pretty much set. Birregurra and Otway Districts are still in finals contention in 6th and 7th spots, but you'd expect with the draw the way it is that the top 5 will stay the same, and Apollo Bay should hold on to that 5th spot in finals. Now, for our favourite part of the show, we've got here. Here it is. It's the COLAC Herald Sportsman of the Week, and this week it's pretty close to home actually. It's a COLAC Herald employee. Who is it, Ben?
That's right. We'll get to it. We like to reward, I guess, these guys that when they're given the opportunity, they really step up to the plate. And who else did this better than Jake Veal at the weekend? He stepped up when the club needed him. Ben Cox out with soreness, and he comes in, kicks 4 goals, and is among the best players. Unfortunately, it did come at a price because their reserves team did lose, and I'm pretty sure they're actually out of final contention now. But well done, Jake.
No, let's give him a couple of goals, plucked a couple of marks probably, and kicked a few majors.
Very well done.
Good stuff there, Veely. And that wraps it up from Ben and I for this week's edition of the COLAC Herald Sports Smash. Make sure you buy Wednesday and Friday's edition of the COLAC Herald, and we will catch you next week.
See ya.